In the name of God, the compassionate and the merciful. Now I want to continue from page 52 up to the end of maybe this chapter. Well, what do I want to do? Well, first of all, we have to have a short look at what we did earlier. If you actually go to page 49, you see we had something like the states model. The states model. It was like page 49 last week, which we talked about the states model in figure 2.1. We say there are two states, initial state and steady state. Okay, this is one model, okay, of language acquisition. So page 49 talks about the states model of development of language, the language faculty on page 49. As a result, on page 50, we said, figure 2.2, we said this is a better explanation of the states model represented on page 50. Maybe you remember this page. Now let us go to talk about another metaphor, and this is language acquisition metaphor on page 53 today. If you actually go to page 53, as you see here, there is input, there's something like language acquisition device in the middle, and to the right we have the input, and to the left we have the input, and to the right we have the output. So there's something like this. Human beings are equipped with language acquisition device in the center of it. Okay, page 53. To the left we have the primary linguistic data as input. And to the right we have a generative grammar which enables the child to talk on the other side. Okay? We call it, as you see here, it is the language acquisition device metaphor. The language acquisition device metaphor. If we want to use it like in fact, in terms of universal grammar, well, you simply go to page 54, and down page 54 you have, instead of language acquisition device, we have the universal grammar inside. And to the left and to the right we have the same thing. Okay, so to the left we have the input, to the right we have the output. So page 54 is the same as page 53. On page 53 we talk about language acquisition device metaphor. On page 54 we talk about universal grammar, in fact, in the place of language acquisition device. So what is it? No difference. Language acquisition device, enables you to have something like the universal grammar. So we have the same input and output there. So basically, there is no difference between 53 and 54. Okay? What comes in must go out. This is, as the book comes to say, the black box, in fact, problem on line 53, line 1, 2, 3, 4. What is it? Is it a kind of problem? Yes. If we put something inside the box, we have to, in fact, produce something outside this box. Suppose this box is a kind of, let's say, factory. This box is a factory. Okay? what it goes inside the factory must be, there's almost the same thing comes out, okay, like this. So we want to make drinks in a factory. We want to have like something like Coke in a factory. What do? We put sugar, water, etc. in the factory. Okay? Now, what is the result? The result is bottles of, in fact, drinks going out. Okay? So the same thing is like language acquisition device. There's a box here. We put input to the left, and the result is output to the right. Okay? And the same thing, as I told you, they are the same, happens with 54. So the box is universal grammar. To the left we have the input language, and to the right we have the output. Okay? To the left we have primary linguistic data, and to the right is the grammar, a grammar consisting of principles, parameters, and lexicon, vocabulary. Lexicon means vocabulary. Okay, this is the whole thing that we have. So we put something in the mind of the baby, in fact an infant, and the result is his or her ability to talk. Okay? Page 54 talks about different types of, in fact, levels of adequacy. You don't need to study these levels of adequacy. It's good only for linguists. You are not supposed to read page 54 when it talks about different levels of adequacy. Okay? Different levels of adequacy are out. You don't need to read. Okay? And when you go to page 55, again, it is repeated there. You don't need it. Simply, you go and study the rest of the material. Now I want to talk about the poverty of the stimulus argument. This is very nice. This is very nice. Well, you remember paragraph 2 talks about, page 55, talks about Plato. You know Plato? Plato. 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 Who is Plato? A Greek philosopher. What is the Arabic name? Aflatun. Aflatun. Okay? Aflatun. In Farsi we call it Aflatun, with the T pronunciation, not Ta pronunciation in Farsi. Okay? So it is Aflatun in Arabic. Okay? Now, Plato or Aflatun had one problem in his mind. Chomsky wants to say what Aflatun said is right. This is a problem, and I'm gonna actually solve the problem. So, if you actually go to page 55, you find something like line 2 of the last paragraph. See? This is the conundrum called Plato's problem. مسألة الأفلاطونية, maybe, I don't know. مسألة الأفلاطون. Okay? سؤال الأفلاطون. What is the سؤال of أفلاطون? Aflatun says, I don't understand why human beings are like this. We just give them a short understanding of what they say, what they do, and they do whatever they want in a very good manner. Okay, let us see. Page 55. Okay, it is called the conundrum called Plato's problem. Okay, let us see. Well, The Plato was like this. I'm going to repeat it. I wanted to find a kind of sentence inside the book, but I couldn't find it. I'm going to explain it in my own wording. Okay? Well, language acquisition in children is so fast and, in fact, perfect. And it doesn't mean that we just give them something and the result is something else they make. Okay? They are faster than that. They are faster than that. Okay? We just give them hints and they actually develop their own grammars. Why is it like that? They are faster than the teachers. They are faster, of course, than their parents' in fact, ability to teach them. They are faster than their parents' ability to teach them. Why? Plato says not only with respect to language, but also with all other fields. You actually give one example of a mathematics problem, another problem, and the result is that this person is able to have so many mathematical problems, philosophical problems, linguistic problems solved. Okay? Why? This is Plato's problem. Why human beings are like this? That you just don't give them enough information. They understand so many things. They're actually idea is that there must be something inside which enables human beings to in fact say do something like this. So it is called, page 55, section 225, the poverty of stimulus argument. What does it say? It says, for language, this is the case that we have poor stimuli, but very good language. Poor stimuli for the child to develop language. What is the result? A very good understanding of their own language. Chomsky wants to solve this problem. For Chomsky, it is the case that Chomsky comes to say, well, what is put inside is not the same as what is put outside this black box. Why? Because inside this black box, there are so many things. Okay? So the result is that this black box of language actually develops universal grammar, develops a specific grammar of Arabic, a specific grammar of Farsi, English, Italian. Why? Because there is something inside. Okay? So Chomsky believes that there is something inside the mind. This is the opposite of the ideas presented by behaviorists. So, this is an argument against behaviorists. What is the argument? Poverty of stimulus. What does it mean? It means that we do not have enough stimuli for the babies to develop language, for the infants to develop language. What is the result? The result is a perfect grammar of their language. Okay? Why? Because what is put inside the box, what is put from the society or etc. inside the mind does not equal the amount that it produces outside. It is not like a factory making, let's say, drinks. Why? Because there are so many things in this factory. Okay? In the factory, we have to have something like this. This is the door of the factory. We take, let's say, water. We take, let's say, sugar. We take other things, and we take bottles, and there are, in fact, machines there. What is the result? The result is a special brand of, let's say, soft drink. But this factory is quite different. Okay. Well, this is something that I talked about on page 55 and parts of page 56. You don't need to, in fact, go to other pages of this chapter. I am done with chapter 2. The next time we are going to continue with chapter, well, this is the end of page 60. We are going to continue next week with page 100. 84, I suppose. Let us see. Well, yes. We actually next week begin with chapter 5. Why? Because chapter 3, these two chapters that 3 and 4 are only for linguists, and it is difficult for you to follow. Okay, we go to find the structures of the, in fact, Chomskyan approaches to language. We have to go to see different grammars of the language. We are not supposed to do so. Why? Because we want to talk about two other things: language acquisition, number 1, and the second, language acquisition and learning. Okay, L1 and L2, chapters 5 and 6. So this is the end of chapter 2. And we are going to begin next week with chapter 5. Remember, page 185. Thank you very much.